It's December 20th, or something, what's the date?
21st.
December 21st, 1999. What?
Say December 25th?
20th.
Oh, good.
And we're just doing a little interview with Mom and Dad.
That's Dad.
That's Dad, this is Mom. We just had dinner, and now we're all just visiting. And we started talking about old people. Most of whom have died. Yes. So,
Deceased relatives, what an interesting conversation.
yes, deceased relative. We're here today to talk about deceased relatives. And we wanted to get some of this on tape because we knew we'd forget who was who. So, Mom, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about what you remember about who was born, when, and where in your family.
Starting with your mom.
Starting with your mom's side.
Work backwards.
So your mother was Mabel.
Edna Schreiber.
Mabel Edna Schreiber, right? That's right. And she was born where?
Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago in 1901 on May
Yeah,
20,
well,
April 22nd. And then who was her mother?
Elizabeth Augusta
O'Connor. Well,
Helbing.
Helbing was her maiden name.
That's right.
Augusta was her middle name?
That's right.
And so your middle name is
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth after her.
After my grandmother.
So her maiden name was Helbing. And then, now how many times was she married?
Twice.
Twice. And her first was to whom?
Herman Schreiber.
Herman
Herman?
Schreiber.
What was his name, Herman?
And where was he from? You don't know? Germany, maybe? Do you think he was from Germany, or you don't know?
Oh, he was probably born here because her mother was born in Germany.
Elizabeth's mother.
That's right.
Okay, but you think Herman,
It's like-
this lady,
Born-
who's this
She
lady?
was born in
No, wait, we're not up to her yet. Okay, we're on Elizabeth. But then what happened? Old Herman kicked the bucket at some point, huh?
That's right.
He died.
No,
when?
no, no.
No.
They were divorced.
They were divorced. This
No,
is-
he left my grandmother when my mother was just a small baby,
Right.
several months old.
So in 1901, Herman left, right?
That's
Herman
right.
Schreiber left.
Yeah.
And then Elizabeth got married, how many years later, do you say?
I guess about 6.
About 6 years later, 1907 or so.
Probably so, because my mother was about, I think 6. Or, well, maybe she might have been 5 because they went to New York for 1 year when my mom was 6.
Okay,
So that was after her divorce from the second husband. So it might have been 1905.
second husband.
After she divorced, after Elizabeth divorced her second husband.
Holy
Mr.
cow.
O'Connor.
All right, so
O'Connor.
Schreiber left her,
That's right.
and then she married O'Connor.
Yeah.
And what was his first name? What was his first name?
John.
John O'Connor. Where'd she meet him, do you know?
They worked in a lunchroom, I think, or some kind of a restaurant. or
And this
some
was
sort.
where? In Chicago or in St. Louis?
I don't know where it was.
Okay. They worked together in a lunchroom.
Yeah.
Okay, almost said restroom. Restaurant, lunchroom, not restroom.
No,
Okay.
they never been to the restroom. I'm sure of that. It wasn't a unisex place.
Okay, they met at a restaurant, and, but how come they got divorced, do you think?
He drank
He
heavily.
drank.
Yeah.
Mr. O'Connor drank.
It got to the point where she said he gets his paycheck and before he gets home it's all spent. And
Yeah.
she didn't feel she wanted to support him also along with my mom, because
Right?
he would have these crying jags and say, I'll do better next week, and next week was the same thing, went over and over and over, and just.
So Elizabeth finally
So
booted
then,
him out.
well, my grandmother, her mother, worked for a doctor.
That's this lady.
And yes, and.
Okay, can you get this picture here? This is Elizabeth's mother, and her
Caroline
name is
Helbing.
Caroline Helbing.
It was, yeah. And she worked for a doctor, and he moved to New York, so then they went, that's how my mother and grandmother went to New York for 1 year.
So Elizabeth took Mabel, your mother, and they went to live with Caroline,
Uh-huh.
Elizabeth's mother, in New York because she worked for the doctor. And they only lived there for a year.
Buddy.
And that's
Joyce
where-
can't come in.
And that's where our grandma, Mabel, stole the peach.
Stole the peach.
Remember?
What peach?
She
No, I
stole a
remember.
peach.
I knew nothing of this peach.
I didn't know that was in New York. That it
Sure.
happened.
Tell
Was
us
in
about
New
that,
York.
Joyce.
She confessed. She stole a peach, and she
From-
was just walking along, and there was a produce stand, and she
Ah.
picked up this peach, and when she got home, her mother asked her where she got it, and she told her, and so she made her take it back and apologize to the guy.
Wow. And
And
how
she
old?
said it was during that year that she lived there,
So
so
she was
like
6.
6 or something.
She was 6, and she
So-
remembered that story all her
Yeah,
life.
it was awful for her. She had to go back and apologize. She felt so bad.
I bet she
She
did.
didn't want to really apologize. I think she really ended up just taking the peach back and not saying anything. And she left.
But her mother made her take it back.
Yeah.
Her mother made her do the right thing. Wow, so that's when she was 6. I remember
She was in
she
New York.
told us about her time in New York, that they had real candles on the Christmas tree
That's right.
when they were in New York.
Real candles on the Christmas.
And it
And
was,
they messed,
That
and
it
they
was-
messed up her grade because they put her in the wrong grade because she was
Oh.
tall.
Grandma
And so
was
then
tall?
she didn't
Yeah.
do everything that she didn't do as well as they thought. So they had
Because
to
they
put her
thought she was
back
older.
again because they thought she was older. So they had to put her back to the right grade, but she
And then
felt like she
she
should
was
have
but
been
when she
older.
got back to St. Louis, she had skipped a grade somehow anyhow, so I think she still got put ahead of her class.
Yeah.
Huh, wow.
But,
So Mabel and Elizabeth went, after O'Connor was gone, they went to
That was
New
kind of
York.
escape to get away from
Yeah,
him, I think.
right. So then did Elizabeth ever marry a third time?
No.
After Schreiber and
Never
O'Connor,
remarried.
she was done. And in fact, she died. I remember her name on her grave is O'Connor.
That's right, that's why, because that was her last.
Yeah, not the last of the 2 husbands.
That's right.
Okay, well, I didn't realize that she had divorced him when Mabel was still so very young.
Oh, I knew that.
Oh, he was real nice to, mom liked him. He was really nice and he was really good to her.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was that he just, you know,
Right.
he just
Now,
did.
I'm sorry. Did you ever meet either of these fellas, Schreiber or O'Connor?
I met Schreiber.
Tell us about that.
Well, I guess when I was maybe 10 or 12 years old, I'm not sure how old. Somehow or other, I really have no idea how he caught up with the family, but he called my grandmother and said that he wanted to see her. Well, he knew, I don't know what was wrong with him, actually, but he was sick and he figured he wasn't going to live very long. And he said she was a good wife and he really felt bad that he left and that he just, that bothered him, I guess, all his life. And so he wanted her to forgive him and she said, well, the good wife forgave me and so I need to forgive you. And he brought some candy to the house and he was there for, I think he came either once or twice to our house. So I met him very briefly, just once or twice, and he seemed like a nice man. But then we found out shortly after, I think he was renting someplace and the landlady somehow got in touch with Grandma and told her that he had passed
He
away.
passed away.
And it wasn't too long after that he had been to the house.
Oh, okay.
But I guess it was, his mind was at peace,
Right, because he had
right?
done that, asked that forgiveness.
And it, bothered him, I think, all his life.
Yeah, all right. Okay. So Caroline then was a Helbing. Back to Caroline. And what do you know about her parents?
Well, her parents came from Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and their name was Weber. But I
Their name was
didn't-
Weber?
Yeah.
I wonder if you need to talk a little louder so we can hear it on the mic.
Oh, well, their name was Weber,
Okay?
but, that was my, well, I guess come to think of it, I guess, I'm not really sure if my great-grandmother was great-great, the one that came over here from Germany.
Okay, so this is Caroline Helbing, and you're not
Yeah.
sure if it was...
But she was widowed pretty young. She had about 6 children, and her husband just, they weren't divorced or anything. He just died. He got sick and died. And
Caroline's
at a
husband?
at a young age. And
So, and they had 6 children. Now, in addition to, so one of the 6 children of Caroline was Elizabeth.
right,
So they called her Lizzie, right?
yeah,
And the others of the 6 were Minnie.
yeah, she was older.
Minnie was older than Lizzie, and then Annie.
Annie, yeah.
And
yeah.
John, you said?
No.
Ed.
Ed was younger than my grandmother.
Okay, so Lizzie, Minnie, Ed, Annie,
And,
2 more.
well, they had one died as a baby.
Okay.
Her name was Emma.
Emma,
She was just
a
real
baby.
young.
Okay.
And then she had a brother, Henry, who, I can't remember, he was either 18 or 1 years old when he was drowned.
He drowned. And how did that happen?
Well, he was out with some boys, friends of his, and they were swimming in the Merrimack River.
Ah.
And there was a lot of step-offs in the Merrimack.
Mm.
And the boys were just having a nice time swimming, and somehow he got caught, I guess, in an undertow or something, and he had rather short hair. He had just had his hair cut or something, and one of the boys tried to pull him by the hair, but it slipped out of his hands.
Oh, that's too bad.
And he was real young when he drowned.
So that was
And
Henry.
he wasn't married, and he used to help her a whole lot.
Oh.
And she just, I mean, it was hard for her to get over his death because she really missed him because he was just,
He was
you know,
really helpful to
he
her.
was a real helpful guy.
Mm.
And Grandma said that it just about really upset her life really bad when he died.
Good.
But, it was just one of those
One of those
unfortunate
things,
accidents.
right. So that was Caroline's 6 children.
Uh-huh.
And Caroline, you say, was born in the United States. You don't think she came from Germany. And you're not clear if her parents did or if it was her parents' parents.
No, I think it would either have been her or the next generation.
Oh, her or the next, okay. Now, Caroline's maiden name was not Helbing, it was
Weber.
Weber. Okay, she was a Weber. And
Her
so,
mother before that was a Luther.
okay, so Caroline's mother was a Luther. And this you think was a cousin of Martin Luther, is that right?
That's what we were told.
Okay. And they all lived in Germany, these Luthers, and, right?
Yeah.
There weren't any
Yeah.
Luthers in the United States. And the Webers were also in Germany, right? So somewhere in there, the Webers or
Probably
Webers
the
came?
Helbings came here.
Probably
She
the Helbings.
probably came, yeah.
She probably came from Germany
She-
as a Weber,
Yeah,
and then met Helbing in the United States.
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not real clear about all of that.
Well, you remember a lot. You remember
Yeah.
a lot. A lot.
I remember some things, but I know my mother gave, she had, I think it was the Lord's Prayer,
Right.
and, framed, it was all in
In
German.
German.
And she gave that to the Concordia Institute, Historical Institute,
Right.
because, she wasn't able to keep it here, and they have climate control places
Right.
where they can put all that sort of thing. And they said they didn't want any more Bibles, but they took that because it was all framed and everything, real
Mhm.
nice. And it was all written in German. And
Sure.
it was signed by somebody Luther,
Ah.
but we couldn't decipher
What the
the
first,
first name was on there. It was so pale, and
So it
it
was
was so
somebody
old. Yeah,
the Luther
so
family.
yeah. And we were just told from one generation to the next that they were cousins of that family.
Okay.
That's
Now-
all I know about it.
What do you know about your dad's family?
Well, I know really less about my dad's family. Because everybody over there stayed in Germany with the exception of my dad.
Now, did he have brothers? He did he?
He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, and do you remember what their names were?
Well, I think the one brother was, let's see, August Gus. Yeah.
Gus, okay, and August?
And I'm not sure what the other one was. Can't think now about the grandfather, what his name was.
I think you told me it was like Fritz or something.
Fritz, yeah, it was.
This was
Fritz,
Herman's
yeah.
father's name?
That was his name, yeah.
Fritz.
Yeah,
Fritz Schneidmeyer.
yeah. And,
Didn't they change the spelling of their name over in Germany? It was
Yes, they did.
Schnatmeier, and then
Yes,
when
they
moved to
did.
the States, they wanted to make it more American, so they changed the I to
Well,
a
No,
Y.
How
it
did
was
that
his,
happen?
well,
It
it
was
was
his other
because
relatives.
his uncle told him that it should be a Y, and so he changed it on his,
When he
say
came
so
into the
when
United
he
States.
told him that.
So Herman's uncle told him this? So that
Yeah.
was a brother of Fritz, maybe?
Yeah, right. And his, let's see, his name was, it was Uncle Charlie, so his name was
Charles.
Charles. And, well, my grandmother on that side of the family, her name was Florentina.
Oh, okay, so Herman's mother was named Florentina?
And who was the guy that Grandma used to always write to?
That was Gotthard.
Oh, Gotthard.
And who was he?
Well-
How was he related?
Well, that was my dad's youngest sister, Anna.
Okay.
Her daughter, Henny, which probably here, I think it was probably short for Henrietta. They called her
Oh,
Henny.
Penny.
It was her husband.
Okay.
Gotthard was her husband.
So this was a niece of your dad's, right? So
He's
your
his
cousin.
husband. Right.
Gotthard was the husband,
Yeah,
but it was
Penny was-
Herman's sister Anna's daughter,
daughter,
Henrietta, so your cousin,
that's right, her. It was
Her husband.
her husband.
her
yeah.
husband, but
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was a
Penny and
in-law.
Gotthard.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And they had, Penny and Gotthard had Inga
And
and
Virgin.
Virgin,
Virgin,
and we
That's
used to write to them.
right. And then my dad had an older sister, Emma, and I don't know. I don't know what the older sister's, she was married, but,
Which older sister?
my
Inga?
dad's,
No.
my dad's older
Oh,
sister.
not Anna?
Anna had a,
Anna's the youngest.
Anna was
youngest,
a younger
okay,
sister,
sorry.
but he had an older sister named Emma. And, she had no children, but she
Okay.
was married.
So actually, there was an Emma on both sides of your family, wasn't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. But then, well, Emma was that baby that
Right,
died.
Emma was the baby that died.
Yeah,
Let's go.
but, yeah, right. But then,
Can't
My
have
dad
that
had-
nap now.
No,
my
we're gonna
dad
get to your family in a
had
minute.
another brother also, but I'm not sure what the other brother's name was. Might have been named after the dad. It's possible, I really don't.
Maybe that was another Fritz.
Could have been, I really don't know what his name.
Okay, so Herman, the
He
German,
was-
came over here.
Yeah, he was like in the middle, you know, he had two older and two younger
Two younger,
siblings.
right. Mark, could you check on the, so Herman came over here, and what year was that, do you know?
I think he was about 20,
Yeah, so he was born in '02, is that right? So it'd have been 1922, 23?
somewhere there. along the
Came
line.
over?
Sure.
And he came to the United
His
States.
birthday is January 24th.
Right, 1902. And he came to the US because
He had an uncle here in St.
Uncle
Louis.
Charlie and
And Aunt Lulu.
Lulu.
Well, it was Aunt Louise, but they called her
Or
Aunt
Aunt
Lulu.
Lulu, okay. And why did he want to be in the United States?
Well, he just, I think he was pretty adventuresome, and he traveled around the country before he came here, you know, on a bicycle, not only in Germany, but other little, you know, countries around there, I think, and he liked to travel, and he had this uncle here, and I guess he wrote to him, and he sponsored him, and he didn't like the, military training that they had over in Germany, and he wanted to get away from that. Well, it was really before Hitler became in power and all of that. That was before his time, but it was a sort of a militaristic type state, I guess.
Well,
you know.
World War I was going on at that time, wasn't it? Didn't World War I start?
Well, that
out?
was in 1917
Yeah,
and 18,
right.
you know.
So, and this was
But-
after that.
Yes, it was after that, but I guess his brothers were in the service in World War I, but he was a little bit too young, so
Right.
he escaped military service there. And
Okay.
then when he got over to the United States in World War II, he was too old. And so he really escaped both wars that way. But I guess the fact that his older brother, you know, that they were in and cousins and that, and, you know, he didn't like the military.
Mhm.
The setup, it was a compulsory type thing, and I guess they had that during peace and wartime probably, and he would have been
Right.
eligible to go into that.
Right.
And so he decided, I don't think it was the entire reason, but he just wanted to travel, and he got to the United States, and he liked it here, and
Right.
then
And so he came straight to St. Louis because of his Uncle Charlie and Aunt
Oh.
Lulu.
yeah, that's right.
And he settled here. And then how did he and your mother meet?
Well, they met at a dance.
Not in the restroom.
No. No, I think it was, I don't know, like, I'm not sure where they went exactly, but it was like, one of the Turner Halls or something. They used to have dances at these Turner Halls, you know.
Right.
Like in Concordia and, they just had different ones, different places, and so, she met him at a dance.
Sound
And I remember a comical thing that she said was, he was in business in the, in a building line, construction business and so forth. And so he had a business card, and he gave her his card, and she looked at it, and she used to hate SCH names, and she thought
But she-
Schreiber was horrible, and she hated it. She said the first thing when I looked at the card and I saw, oh my gosh, that Margie, so I
That's
thought,
even worse than Schreiber.
it's even worse, And that was kind of funny, but,
But she went to a dance with some of her friends, took the
Yes, she did.
streetcar.
oh
To go
yeah,
to a dance with some of her
and
friends.
she came home with them too.
And she went home with them too, right, with her friends. But didn't he like ride the streetcar home with her or something like that?
He
Or was that
had,
you guys?
no, I think he had a car, and he wanted to take her home, and she said, well, no, I came with my friends in the streetcar, and we were going back together on the streetcar, and so then he said, but he asked her address or something, and then could he go out with her the next week or whatever it was, or he made a date with her, and but he asked then if he could bring his car or something like that. And so I guess she told him that it'd be okay or something like that, because she thought she probably could trust him, so.
And they were both in their 20s by then,
Well,
of course, because he
right,
didn't even
yeah.
come until he was 21
Yeah.
or 22.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she didn't really meet him right away because he was already, well, it wasn't his own business, but he worked for some people, but, he had a business card and that sort of thing, business company. So it was kind of an adjustment, even though she was of German descent. It was still kind of hard, I think, because he had a lot of more German ways coming from a totally different country. And it was kind of strange. She had a teacher who, when I went to high school, she was teaching German.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the teacher that taught him English, but I never
Ah.
took German. I mean, I saw the teacher, but I never did have her because I didn't take that. I just took Spanish.
So when he came to this country, he took some kind of classes to learn English?
Exactly.
Okay.
Mhm.
And they were maybe through the high school, or what were they, how did he?
I really don't exactly
Don't
know
know how
how
it was
he
set up.
got involved with it, but it was during night
Nighttime,
night school.
night school
yeah.
type thing.
Yeah, right. And he
You-
got his citizenship papers right away, and some of his friends didn't do that. And when World War II broke out, where there was a problem of
Ah,
being deported,
Right.
they said, well, some people will have to, if you don't have citizenship papers, you'll have to go back to Germany. And I think that was basically a lot why everything was, when I was growing up, everything was pretty hush-hush. People who were German, he spoke it with his friends, but he didn't talk it at home, or he didn't teach
Yeah,
it to
it
us
was,
children, because it wasn't a popular thing to do
at
at
the
that
time.
time.
No, that was
it
too bad
not.
that you lost
And
that
it was very
culture.
a shame, because I know he felt really bad when war broke out,
Yeah.
because he said, I'm thankful I'm older that I don't have to go and fight my own people,
Yeah.
which would have been really hard. Yeah.
Really hard.
And in fact, you couldn't even correspond. We couldn't even correspond with relatives in
During that time.
during that time at all. There was no correspondences with Gotthard, which was much later. But during war years, it was, we had a place over in Jefferson and Lafayette called the German House. Well, that got changed to the St. Louis House.
Wow.
They had German newspapers here. Well, they were, they weren't around anymore. You didn't go around speaking it, you didn't, people were fearful, I think, that, you would maybe get picked up or deported or whatever.
Or thought of as being on the wrong side.
Exactly, yeah, so I remember as a really young child that he would, with friends of his, he would speak German just amongst themselves, but we were never taught at home any German whatsoever.
So his goal was to become Americanized,
Exactly,
and he did.
yes, very much so,
Now, he unfortunately died an early death
yeah.
when you were only 15.
He really lost his accent. If you would talk to him, you would think he was American born. I know a lot of people who are born here and who are just of German extraction who have much more of an accent than
Than
he
he
ever
did.
had, because
Wow.
he totally lost his accent.
Wow.
And my mother was really good at writing it, and she would, when he worked for a while for the railroad, she would write reports that she would correct them and everything so that they were grammatically correct, because, he didn't want things misspelled or anything like that. He always wanted it to be right.
I remember Grandma told me when you were born, or when she was pregnant with you, that he liked the name Angela, but he was mispronouncing it. He was saying it Angela.
Oh, it
That's a
sounds
German,
like
that's a German pronunciation.
Right, and he was pronouncing it
Angela.
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 But then he didn't really care that much for Angela. He liked
He didn't like that.
Angela.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
But, so that's why they didn't name
Name
it
me
that, 'cause
that,
he didn't
right.
like the English
No,
pronunciation.
and so
Right.
how did they come about, he had some other names he was thinking of too, right?
Oh, Frida.
Frida?
And she said, no.
Gertrude was another one, wasn't it?
I don't know about that, but I know one of them was Frida, and she said, no, that's entirely too German, that, old fashioned, that she didn't want that.
So
Well,
how
they
did they
like
come up with
Virginia?
Virginia?
Well, there was a Virginia Avenue in the south side of town, and he kind of knew that. And I think with Ray, that was pretty simple, because he worked for a man named Mr. Ruhack, and his son named Raymond Ruhack.
Oh.
And so he knew this little boy was like, I guess 3 or 4 years older than Ray is, and so he was familiar with that name, although it was not at all German, but
Mhm.
he consented to that because he liked this little boy, and
Yeah,
his
and he
name
knew
was
the name.
Raymond, and so that's how he knew that name. Of course, he's got Herman for a middle.
Yeah, Raymond Herman.
Yeah. And my cousin, Junior, who was named after his dad, was Clemens. His name was Clemens Herman.
Clemens Herman.
Grimm.
Okay, now,
Clemens?
this
That's
is a
the
cousin of yours on your mother's side. This is whose child?
No, that's on my dad's side.
Your dad's side.
That's my dad's
Is
side of the
that Uncle
family.
Charlie's?
Uncle Charlie and Aunt Lulu.
Oh, I didn't know
Emma
this.
Grimm was their daughter.
Okay.
She was Emma Schnapp-Marcy, and she married Clemens Grimm.
Oh,
And then
I didn't know
Mike's-
she was Emma Schnattmeyer. I never knew
And
that.
then my cousin that I write to in Florida, is a second cousin of mine.
Ethel? No.
No,
Vera.
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 Who's Ethel? I said-
Vera and Marty,
Ethel was dead.
yeah.
She doesn't write it.
No.
Don't tell me who she is. Just
No,
Dead.
no, this is still my dad's side of the family.
Well, who was Ethel?
Yes.
Well, Ethel was
DHYL.
she was on my mom's side of the family. That was Uncle Ed's daughter.
Okay, and she used to always misspell
Mabel.
Grandma's name.
Yeah, right.
L.E., even though
Yeah.
she was a school teacher.
Well, you remember Mardella? That was her sister.
Oh, yeah, it was her
Mardella.
sister. Grandma used to play with
Yeah.
Mardella and Ethel.
And Mardella she was named after her. Uncle Ed used to like to play the horses when he was young, and he'd go to the racetrack. And
There's
so,
a horse named
so
Mardella?
so she was named after a horse. She was. That's where he got the name Mardella.
I hope Mardella was a winner. Okay, well, I didn't know that. Emma Emma was Charlie and Lulu's daughter. Is that right? Now, did they have any other children, Charlie and Lulu?
Well, yeah, Emma had sisters and brothers, but I didn't know all of them.
So Emma married, what was his name?
Clemens.
Clemens Grimm.
Grimm. And then they
Are
had
they in
Junior.
relation to Dr. Grimm?
No, not at all.
No.
That's, no relation. No.
So Junior Grimm.
Uh, and Junior and Vera were sister and brother.
Oh, who did
See.
Junior get married to?
Well, Junior married, he married a girl named Betty.
Okay.
And
Junior
well,
and Vera were married.
when she married,
And is Vera
The Vera and Mari?
Vera
Vera
and
and
Mari.
Mari.
Becker.
Oh! I never
okay.
knew you were related
I
to
never
them.
knew Junior and Vera were brother and sister.
yeah, sure.
Oh,
Well,
sure. Well, I guess we
anyway,
never listened to you before.
well,
told us.
and Ethel's on my mother's side of the family. There was
Okay, we're
talking
gonna forget about
too.
it. All right, Mardell and Ethel, the horse people. They're on the other side of the family. This is
And they're dead
the
now.
Grimm. Okay, so Vera and Junior are brother and sister. Vera married Mari Baker.
Yeah, he was from Mankato, Minnesota.
What do you know? Okay,
He's one of about 8 children, I think.
okay.
Something like- I don't
Wow.
know, ask me where he
And
fits in.
Junior had a gas station.
Yes, he did.
And he used to ride a motorcycle.
That's right.
And he
And
had an accident.
yes, he did. He was after he got out of the service, he was in the Navy. And he was on a minesweeper boat, and he was out in the rough seas and everything, all during the service, he never got a scratch. came home just fine. A week later, he bought a motorcycle, and he skidded into a telegraph post.
Ouch.
Yes, and he had trouble with his leg ever after
Forever
that.
after.
Yes, well, it was so bad, they thought they were gonna have to amputate his leg, bones were sticking out different places. Oh, this is sad, and
Yes,
serious, but
yes.
anyhow, he had on his cast, they had a diagram of, you know, all this stuff on his cast. And he was in Jefferson Barracks Hospital during the time my mother worked there.
Oh.
And anyhow, I think, I don't exactly know where he met Betty, but I think Betty was, you know, met him from going down to the hospital, I guess, seeing some of the boys or something, and that's how. But they got married, but the marriage didn't last very long.
Ah.
And they got a divorce, and she was from Pocahontas, Arkansas.
Now, did they have children?
They had no children.
Okay.
So then later on, he married Dolores,
Aha.
second wife.
That's the one that
Yeah.
sounds familiar. Dolores.
Okay, Dolores, yes. And Dolores had been married before. She had a son from a previous marriage. And then they had two children.
Okay.
Junior and Dolores did.
What are their names?
Um,
Junior.
let's see. The little girl was Katie, and I'm not sure what the boy's
It
name.
wasn't Clemens or anything awful like that.
No, it's a totally different name.
Okay.
And I think she had a boy. Her boy was Tommy, but that was from a different marriage. But I can't remember what their little boy's name was. Something.
Look in here.
It was. I want to say Scott, but I'm thinking about either, you know, Mike, your cousin Mike. Those twins were
Don't get
Katie
into
and
that.
Scott. That's a totally different thing. But I know the little girl was Katie, and I can't remember the boys.
Okay, that's all right.
But
So,
they're
how old
grown
is
now.
Junior in relation to you? Junior, I mean, how old was Junior in relation to you?
Oh, I think he was around 3 or 4 years older than me.
Okay,
Is
he
he
was
still
of that
alive?
generation.
No, he passed away. He had cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did, but I forgot.
And Dolores died too, right?
No, she's still alive. But,
Sorry.
As far as I know, she's still alive. But they had divorced shortly before his death.
I see. Okay, well, we learned
Okay.
something new. We didn't know about Charlie.
And then
Lulu
there's
and
Vera
all
and
that.
Mari, who live in Florida.
Right,
And
Junior's sister, Vera.
that's right. That's the one I write to. That's what we went to see
Are they
that
both
time.
still living?
Oh, yeah, I still
Okay.
write to her.
Okay.
And
That's
we
good if you
we
still
correspond
live.
about every other month. I hear from her.
Oh, really? Okay, all right.
Now.
Now, let's get over to Dad's.
They have 2 children. Vera and Mari do.
Right. Okay, now let's finish up the your side of the thing by just talking about your father passed away in 1945.
August
In
12th.
August, right. And then your mother lived to the ripe old age of 91. And she died in 1992.
Yeah. May 28th.
May 28th, Lynn's wedding anniversary.
That's right.
Right. Okay, so now you can make up, we're talking about your family.
You have how many brothers?
Let's see now. 5.
No, there.
No,
you
Four
have-
brothers.
Right.
And I'm in the middle. Harold and Kenneth have since died. And so that just leaves George, which is me, and Raymond and Paul.
Right.
What else do you want to know?
And
Now,
your-
wait a minute, Raymond, that's not really his name. His name's like
Charles
Charles
Raymond.
Raymond.
That's
And
true.
who else goes by a fake name?
Well,
Kenneth, it was
actually,
Thomas Kenneth.
Ken, his real name was Thomas Kenneth.
Okay.
Now how Thomas
That's it.
Kenneth and Charles Raymond took on their middle name never was explained to me, so I don't know why. They just did.
Now, is Harold really Harold? What's
And
his
George
middle
is
name?
really
Harold
George.
Jackson.
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 Harold
Turner.
Jackson Turner. Jackson came after Stonewall Jackson. My brother Paul
Paul Lewis.
Came after St. Louis. I don't know where Paul came from.
And you're George Wendell after what?
Wendell Wilkie.
I guess, I wish.
He was a candidate one time for president some years ago.
He
And
lost.
yes, he was. He's passed away. But anyhow, he
She said he lost.
yeah
And he
lost.
died.
Yeah, he died. Yeah.
Well,
But
He probably
he's
lost
come
first.
from Indiana heritage, and
Ah, okay.
there's a statue our monument to him in Elwood, Indiana.
That's true.
And that's where they got the name, because his dad was from that area.
Okay, let's talk about your dad. Your dad's name was,
Birchie, that's Birchie,
yes?
and I don't think there's another soul in the whole world named that name. Birchie St. Elmo Turner.
And where did these
But he
names
kinda
come
dropped the
from?
saint, didn't
I
he?
have no
Yeah, he
idea where St.
he
Elmo
dropped the
came
saint,
from.
yeah.
I have no idea where St. Elmo came from, and I don't know where Birchie came from. And Birchie's father, I never met.
You know what his name was?
I have no idea. I never met him. All I know is that,
You never met either one of his parents.
never met either one of his, no, I never met either one of his
Your
parents.
Your
They-
grandparents,
They were both deceased
before you were born.
before I was born.
Okay,
So I know nothing about them at all.
but you know, Birchie had what for siblings?
Birchie had a brother named Virgil.
No,
No, wait, no, that's one of,
his brother's name was Archie.
Archie. Yeah, she knows
Birchie
more
and
about my,
Well,
she
I
knows
thought
more
so
about
too.
my family than I do.
Birchie and Archie were brothers. Were there
And,
any others?
then there was
I
a
never
sister.
met Archie either. Archie died a month before
Yeah.
we were married.
Yeah, I met Archie. And then there was a sister, what was her name?
Flora.
Flora.
Veronica.
Flora. What,
Flora.
Birchie?
Jughead. She said Veronica, like
Yeah.
Archie and Veronica and
Oh.
Jughead. No.
No,
No.
Flora.
Flora.
Aunt Flora.
Sorry.
All
We
right.
remember Flora. We
Yeah,
met
she
Flora.
had a farm somewhere.
Yeah.
And you had all the pepper on your eggs.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, you
At her
remember that?
Flora,
farm.
Birchie, and
Archie.
Archie.
And that's all there was just those three?
Right.
Yes, look at her. Now Archie married Carrie, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I got that wrong.
No.
Who was Carrie married to?
No,
Now, let's
Carrie,
go back to who
All right, let's go back to
Oh, yeah,
Archie.
that was right. What's an Archie and Carrie?
Archie and Carrie,
Yeah.
Archie and
Yeah,
Carrie.
you're right.
Yeah,
You were right.
yeah, you're right, that's
You're
right.
right.
No.
Because Carrie had the bright red hair till she died.
Yeah.
Exactly. She
Okay, I
looked
thought,
a bit
I thought she
younger.
was your
Aunt.
Yeah.
Aunt Carrie.
Carrie.
Aunt
Well,
Carrie.
she's not really my aunt, but we
By
call her
marriage.
by marriage.
by marriage.
Well,
Well,
it's like
Archie-
Aunt Betty or is it whoever.
She
is
was
my
a,
aunt.
listen, she was a fiery old soul, I wanna tell you
We
something.
know. We remember that.
That's where I
Yeah.
get the red in my hair. Don't make
I thought it was from the bottle.
That's what I said. Don't make it.
All right.
It was not unusual
I was
for,
meant to be a
it was not
redneck.
unusual for Carrie to run out in the backyard with a shotgun and start shooting, I can tell you that, she was really a fiery old soul.
Well, where did Carrie and Archie live?
The only thing I can
Mooresville,
tell you,
Indiana is
the only thing I can tell you is in Indiana,
And so,
Mooresville, she lived later.
Mooresville, Indiana.
and what would she be shooting at in the backyard?
Well, chickens, I mean, that's,
So they were on a farm.
they were on a farm, and if there was any kind of an uprising of any kind, it wasn't unusual for her to take her shotgun out there, and
She took care of it.
She was like Annie Oakley.
I guess, I mean, it was,
Okay, so Birchie was born in Indiana, is that correct?
yeah, Elwood, Indiana.
Elwood, Indiana.
Yeah,
And he had these two siblings.
Didn't he
Yeah.
always say Tipton County?
yeah, Tipton County, yeah, that's
Tipton County.
right, well, that's Elwood, Indiana, Elwood, Indiana is,
And Anderson is near there.
I think so.
Okay. And what do you know about Birchie's young life?
Birchie's, what?
His childhood or his youth or anything?
Wasn't he kind of wild?
Well, when he was,
No.
when he left home, he told me he left home when he was about 18 and went down to Florida. And he never really told any of us much of his life.
Okay.
I mean, I guess he didn't really like it too much. I mean, I never knew him to smoke or drink, but I understand that
He did that when he
he
was
did that when he was younger, but that he don't do it anymore. He didn't do it anymore after they were married. My dad and mom, they met in the bug house
Bug house.
in the insane asylum.
Wait a minute.
You don't call it that.
Who,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Your dad and mother met in the.
Yeah,
I thought
They
it
were-
was Uncle Ray.
It was the Indiana State Mental Hospital. I
How did they
think.
meet there? What were they doing there?
What was he
Well,
doing there? I don't know. She
my-
was working in the housekeeping department.
yeah, she was working in
Oh.
the housekeeping department.
I don't know what he was doing.
And he was in maintenance.
Oh, so they weren't
Oh, they weren't
patients.
patients.
No.
I thought they were.
Oh, no,
They
no,
met in the insane
No, they both
asylum.
worked there.
No, no,
The
they weren't
Indiana
patient.
State Mental Hospital, I think it was.
I'm like, let's turn off the tape.
This was in Indianapolis.
Okay.
Yeah, so my mother and dad both met, okay, in Indiana State, Gizmo, whatever you wanna call it. And,
State hospital.
and then dad went to work for Blue Valley Creamery Company, after that. And so then he was transferred to, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Well, okay, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so then there was,
Harold was born
Harold was
in
born,
Indianapolis.
Harold was born
Okay.
in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And Kenneth and myself were both born
In Raymond.
and Raymond were both born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And
All
Paul
three
was-
of you.
And Paul was born in
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
So that's why he's the one that's named Lewis. 'Cause he's
Right.
the only one. So good thing you didn't get named George Milwaukee.
Yeah, right. Well, it was a.
Probably better than Wendell.
Well, I wanted him to go by G1 Turner because I thought that sounded more dignified,
Distinguished. All right.
distinguished.
So your dad and mother met at the state hospital in Indianapolis,
Where they were not patients.
where they were not, clearly, not patients. And your mother was Mary Varner, is that right?
That's
And
right.
where did she grow up?
She grew up in,
Santa Claus, Indiana. Near the,
wait a minute. What is it? It was,
Lincoln City.
Lincoln City, that's right.
Lincoln City, Indiana?
Lincoln City, Indiana. Lincoln City, Indiana is where,
There's
Well,
a state park there now.
that's a state, that's true, that's a
That
state.
property used to be owned by their family.
Yeah,
Part of it.
Really?
Where the park is.
Really?
I didn't know that.
That's
It
right.
was a farm or what?
Yes, Grandpa Varner had a farm, but Grandpa later on sold the farm and moved to Lincoln City. And when he moved to Lincoln City, then he stayed there, and then that property later on became part of that
Park system.
park system. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Grandpa Varner, so your mother was raised on a farm, and your your dad was raised on a farm
That's true.
in Indiana, okay.
Mhm.
But they, both, as young people, had other jobs, not on the farm. They both ended up working at this
Right.
state
Yeah,
hospital.
yeah, I guess
Right.
they helped out on the farm until
Right.
they got old enough to.
Do their own
Leave
life,
the home.
leave the farm.
My grandmother, on my mother's side, she died of TB,
Mm.
and my mom's sister also died of the same disease.
What was her name, your mom's sister, Mary's sister?
Is that Dora?
And Aunt Dora.
Aunt Dora.
And my grandmother's name was Donna.
That's your mother, that was Mary's mother's name.
That's right.
Mary's
And Grandpa
name was Mary
Varner's-
Mariah.
Mary Mariah.
Varner.
Right,
Mary
right, right.
Mariah Varner.
Okay, and then Donna married Grandpa Varner,
Mhm.
your Grandpa Varner, and what was
Andrew.
his name?
Andrew.
His name was Andrew.
I don't know what his middle name. Andrew.
Andrew. Now, what do you know about anything else
About her
besides?
sisters and brothers, all she had.
Well, all right, there was Uncle
Yeah.
Henry. Now,
Now, wait a minute,
Uncle,
whose sisters and brothers are these? These are
Mary's.
Mary's? Your mother?
yeah, my mother had a brother, Henry. Now, Henry was in WW1, and he got mustard gas, and that
Mm.
later on, many years later, killed him.
Okay.
And then he had another uncle,
Well, she had Clyde was her uncle.
Uncle Clyde, I couldn't think of it.
No, that was her brother.
Her brother,
Yeah, that's my uncle, Uncle Clyde, which was.
Her brother.
So
which was-
Henry, so Mary had Henry and Clyde as brothers, right?
and- Yeah,
Didn't she have a sister named Emma that died too at a young age? Was it Emma there that died?
I don't know.
She
Maybe-
said there was a baby.
She did?
You remember?
No more than I do about my own family.
Okay, and that was it for siblings for Mary, or?
No,
was there-
Barbara.
Barbara, of course.
Now, who are these people with the 17 kids? How do they fit in?
That's
Well,
one of
that's
Barbara's
Barbara,
children.
that's
That's-
one of Barbara's,
That's Barbara,
Yeah.
Bob Wildman, it was Bob Wildman.
well, Barbara was married 3 times.
Okay,
It was Bob, all right, my Aunt Barbara, which is my mother's sister. She had, let's see, one son was, what's his name? He died of,
Oh, who was from Wildman, anybody?
well, yeah, there was
Bob Wildman, yeah.
It was Bob Wildman, then Bob Wildman had a brother, but he died real young of TB. Or what was it, no, what was that other disease?
Polio?
Polio.
That was their son.
No,
Well,
that
Bob and
was-
Jetta had 17 children.
I ain't told to them yet.
Oh, Bob had a brother, you told me, yeah.
Yeah, Bob had a brother, but I just, too many years have gone by, I can't think of his name.
Well, wait a minute, who's the one that married Barbara? His name wasn't Bob, was it?
I don't know
My
Was
what,
Barbara's father?
Barb,
what was Barbara's husband, Wildman, what was his first name?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I never was told that.
And
Only
how
thing
did Diane and Larry fit in there?
We'll tell you later.
The only thing I can tell you about,
I don't really know. Hopefully they're not really related, are they?
I lost my,
Yeah, they are. Diane
Oh.
was Clyde's daughter.
Bob, let's see, Barbara married Wildman first.
What was her first name?
And
It was
had
the first
Bob
marriage.
and some other
And-
And Bob, another boy that died.
And, yeah.
Wasn't he 12 years old when he died?
That's
Yes,
correct,
right.
he died here in St. Louis. And then she married again, and Tom
Yeah, his name was Crook.
Crook, and then she married another guy. and he-
So she went from a wild man to a crook? Is
To a
that
crook.
right?
Wild man to a crook,
Yeah,
Tom
and
Crook.
Tom Crook, yeah.
Tom-
And then she
Crook.
married Jones
This,
later on.
Yeah.
this is all,
That's right.
this is all Aunt Barbara.
Right.
And then that didn't work out, and after that, she married somebody else. They
She only had Tom in that marriage.
Yeah, only had Tom in that marriage, and then the last marriage that she had, that husband finally got real sick and was hospitalized, and she had to take care of him till
His name was Jones. What was his first name?
Jones. I don't know, but anyway, he got real sick, and he finally died, and Aunt Barbara
She had no children.
had no children from that day on.
All right, now, Wildman, this Bob, this,
Bob Wildman. Bob
He married Jetta,
He married a gal
Jetta,
named Jetta, and they had 17
17
kids.
children.
17 kids. What's the youngest one's name?
Oh, I have no idea.
All right, what's
I
the
just got a
strangest
letter
name?
from, I just got a letter from Jetta. I'd have to
All
ask her,
right,
she
what's
could
the
tell you the whole
strangest name
history.
of the group, of the 17?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Isn't there
what-
one of them named Iwo Jima?
No.
Yes, it is,
Sarah,
yes,
I
it is.
know it, there it
That's
is.
That's
not
it.
Bob's kids.
Yes, it is. One of Bob's kids is named Iwo Jima. That's right.
I don't think so.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
got 17, you run out of names.
I remember there was one about my age named Gloria, and I asked her how many brothers and sisters did
Oh,
she have,
yeah.
and she said, I don't know.
That's right.
And
One
I,
of them.
when we were there,
And
I
there was
remember
some
there was a
kid.
little one running around named Iwo Jima.
And it might have been his
That's-
nickname,
That's
but that
true,
was-
that's true.
I thought it was a girl.
That's true because Bob was on that island.
And
What
then
was
there
the-
was some kid that was running around who had something wrong with his leg and,
Oh, that
That's
boy
right.
died, yeah, when he was about 12. What was it? He was
well, he was
real,
still alive then.
he was
Otherwise
real,
he would've been running.
yeah, but he
He
was,
had something.
yeah.
He was kinda,
He had birth
Disabled.
defects, yeah, he had a lot of birth defects.
Okay, so,
And,
so
they
Bob
had-
and Jetta had the 17 kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it
there's-
was just real crowded
I
and
can't-
noisy and awful there.
Well, there's Mona was one of them, and, oh, I can't think of all the names of those kids. And,
I don't know. I don't know.
Brian
Jetta
was
can.
one of them. And I don't know, I just had a letter from her just the other day, Jetta.
Jetta.
But Bob died.
Now, some of
Oh,
them were
Bob
twins.
died.
Bob passed away,
Didn't she
yeah.
have at least one set of twins?
Yeah, she had a
in
set
there?
of twins, but the twins died. They were,
Were they among the
And they were-
17?
I think they were either stillborn or they died real young. I
So were
think
they
so.
part of the 17 or were they
Yeah,
really 19?
yeah, they were part of the 17.
Okay.
But she had three that died, these two twins that died, you know, they're real early, like either stillborn or died like in a few days. And then she had, that other boy, he was about 12 when he died or so, wasn't he? He was a real
I thought his name was
happy-go-lucky
like
kid.
Corey or something.
I can't remember his name.
Now, okay, back to Mary for a minute, your mother. Your mother Mary had these siblings. We talked about Henry, Clyde, Barbara, and is that it?
Dora.
Dora.
Dora. I thought there
So there
was
were five of
maybe
them?
Emma too on that side.
And maybe a baby
She
Emma.
died, yeah.
And is that it for siblings for Mary?
That's it.
Now, Mary's mother was Donna. Do you remember what her maiden name was before she married Andrew Varner? Do you know what her maiden name was, Mom?
Well, who was, Lagarde? That was your father's side, was somebody?
That is my father's side. I have no
His
idea
side,
what,
yeah.
I mean, I guess this guy, what's this guy in the left named Coy, or what's his
Oh,
name?
yeah, you mean Mr. Dan High.
Van Hoy, Van Hoy,
He would
Hoy
know.
Van Hoy?
he probably would know. He's no
Charles?
relation to us at all.
He's-
but-
Who is he?
Well, he's married, well, I'll tell you who he is. He was doing a genealogical type thing, or family tree thing on the family, and he was married to,
On what family?
on the Turner family, on, let's see, he married,
Oh.
Aunt, what was the red-haired man's name now?
Carrie.
Aunt Carrie's, one of her, she had 6 children, Aunt Carrie did.
Carrie
Yeah.
and Archie.
Yes, and one of her children was Pauline, who I
Okay,
never met, but she died,
Pauline Barnum.
yes, a long time ago. And anyway, he was married to her, and now he has since remarried,
Mr. Van Hoy.
Mr. Van Hoy, yeah. And so she's really not connected with, you know, she's got a second wife, you know, and, but anyhow, he was trying to do all of this research and stuff, but he was asking us a lot of questions and different
Do you
things.
know, what do you know about this Lagarde person?
Plus, maybe that was on your father's side, that was, I guess, his mother's maiden name, because his dad was like English, Irish, and French. I mean,
His
his
dad mean
family,
Archie?
I mean,
Or Birch's
Birchie's-
dad?
yeah. Lagarde was on that side.
Yeah.
His mother's maiden name, I think, was Lagarde.
The family tree is something that I never really was interested in. I didn't follow.
Well, you
it
know
all.
who you might
Ruby-
talk to.
Ruby followed-
and Cheryl have done a lot of research.
Ruby,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they did a lot
So
of research.
they would
on
know
it.
a lot more about it probably than we do.
I'd like to talk to that. I wonder, yeah. Okay, well,
You should-
anyway,
The only thing that I know is LaGuardia, and there was another Irish name, and I used to have it there for a while. It was McCain or McCain or
Oh, let me see, McCabe, wasn't it?
McCabe, yeah, something
Yeah,
like
it was
that. Now,
somebody
that that was the
McCabe.
Irish, that was on the Irish side, and LaGuardia was on the French side.
But they were both on the Turner side of the family, and then his mother, of course, Varner's, that was Irish.
oh, okay. But you don't know anything about Mary's mother, what her maiden name was, Donna, it was
No,
Donna.
no, I
Person, you
don't.
know anything
No, I
about that
don't
side.
know.
Okay.
She
But the
died,
Varners,
she died when I was 12.
Mary did?
Yeah.
No, not
Donna.
No, no, Donna
Donna.
did.
Aunt,
Donna.
my grandmother,
Grandma.
my grandmother, my mother's side, she died when I was
How
12.
about Andrew, your grandpa, when did he die?
After we were married, because, let me see, I'll tell you when he died. He died, we were married in May of '54, and he died in January of '55. He was at our house at Christmas, and he was up here from Indiana, and he said, shook hands with us, and he said, well, I won't be seeing you anymore, or something like that, and a month later, he died in January. I said, he must have hit a premonition or something. Well, he had been sick, but he had a heart problem, but it was just the idea that, you know, he said, oh, well, don't say that, we'll see you again, you know.
Never did.
He didn't.
This one.
Okay. So.
And Diane, where she comes from, that was Clyde's daughter,
Okay.
on the
Clyde
mother's
was-
side.
Clyde was your mother's brother.
Brother.
That's true.
Diane is his daughter.
I don't know what his wife's name was, but she was mentally ill or something like that.
Clyde's wife?
Clyde's wife.
Yeah, she
That's
was.
why.
She was mentally ill.
Oh,
I
that's
never-
why
They
Diane's
finally,
crazy. That's why Diane's crazy.
they finally had to, I hate to say this,
Put her in a
front of the
mental
camera,
institution.
but Clyde and Clyde's children had to be put in foster home.
Because he wasn't able to take care of them. She was mentally ill, and I don't know what did he drink or something like that.
Well,
Clyde was kind of, he didn't have much of a
first
job.
of all, a horse stepped on his foot when he was real young, and he was a cripple.
You guys are leaving?
Yeah. I have to take Kevin to practice.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you take your nail clippers this time?
Yes, I got it.
Oh, okay.
It's nice to be on film.
Okay.
Nah, well,
We had the horse stepped on the foot and he was crippled.
Oh, that's right, good for you. So he was a cripple, so he really couldn't do any kind of things at all. He worked for the state of Indiana in fire tower, as a watchman up in one of those fire towers.
Clyde did? Oh.
Yeah. He did that for a while, and then he also worked
I
on
know.
a milk wagon, just you know, mediocre jobs like that. And until he finally got too old and just retired,
Hmm.
died off.
Now, your dad worked for the creamery
For Blue Valley Creamery Company,
in St. Louis.
In St.
Well,
Louis.
first in.
no, he
Wasn't it Beatrice Foods?
He worked for Blue Valley Creamery Company in Indiana, and then got transferred to Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Then to
and then
St.
back to
Louis.
St. Louis.
Where did Beatrice
And
Foods
then,
come from?
and then Blue Valley Creamery Company sold out to Beatrice, and that ended his job with that
Ah.
sort of work.
Well, when I
And
met
then
him, he
what
worked
did you
at
do?
Washington University.
So then he went to work
Not you.
for,
His
Your dad.
worked.
so then
his
my
worked
dad
at
went to work
Washington.
for a laundry company for a little while until he got on for Washington University, and he stayed there until he retired.
Ah.
Yeah, he went to night school, he got a,
Now, did he help you get a job at Washington U?
Who?
Your dad, didn't you work at Washington?
Yeah, I worked in
Yeah.
Washington too.
but he worked, he took correspondence courses, that's what he did. He
Who
got
did?
a-
Your
His
dad?
dad
My dad
did
took
it,
a
and he got a
correspondence-
job as a stationary.
Stationary engineer.
What's a stationary engineer?
Well, that's just the opposite of a
Moving.
locomotive engineer.
But what you're not working on a train, or are you?
No,
Well,
you don't work on a train at all, you work on boilers that stand still.
Oh, boilers.
But this
okay.
was
That's
at
the reason it's called a
Washington.
stationary
He
engineer.
worked,
I see.
yeah,
Boilers don't move
yeah.
unless they blow up.
He worked for, yeah, when I met George, he was working there at WashU. Well, you were working at WashU too when I
Yeah,
met you.
that's right.
Then after that, you got a job at, where did you go from there?
From WashU, I went to Hardy Salt.
Hardy Salt. And from Hardy Salt to Missouri Portland Cement.
Yeah, and then from
From
Missouri,
Missouri Portland Cement,
I went to,
Fuel Oil Company of St.
yeah,
Louis.
that's where I,
You were there a year before we were married.
yeah. So that's how I got
And
into
then,
it. That's how I got into the trade of starting the Fuel Oil Company of St. Louis. I was an oil burner mechanic, and later on went to school and learned heating and air conditioning
then you worked
and
for Quacky Quickie?
how to bend wire and make connections.
then you worked for Quacky Quickie?
Right?
Yeah, I worked for, well, that was Fuel Oil Company of St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
Quacky
was their trademark.
Quick. That was their trademark. Quacky.
Quacky Quickie. It was a little duck with icicles on its bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, thermometer.
It was on the truck, that was funny.
But all my electrical training came in real handy working at Mark's house, Mark
Oh.
and Donna's house.
No doubt about that.
Of course.
Okay, one more question.
Okay.
What's the most interesting story you remember about anybody in your family or any of your relatives?
There's only one more interesting fact about our family.
Okay.
I married this gal and been glad ever since. How's that?
Good,
Oh, we
good.
had roller skating.
Oh, that's right. You guys met roller skating.
I met old
Never
Snapdragon.
been- never
I met
been-
old Snapdragon here, and we've been good friends, married ever since. Good lovers ever since.
So you met roller skating in St. Louis?
Yeah, I haven't been back
At
since.
at the arena roller rink was,
At the arena?
Yeah.
well, it was right next door to where the arena was, there was a roller rink.
Uh-huh.
And years later, it became a bowling alley.
Ah,
And it was in the same building with the bowling alley, where the roller rink originally was. They turned it into a bowling alley.
okay, so you
Then
were
a
roller
bowling alley
skating.
when-
And who approached whom?
What'd you say?
Who approached whom at the
Oh,
roller rink?
I guess, I don't know, that's so many years ago, I don't remember, but I guess I asked her if she wanted to skate, and she wasn't very good at it, I know that. I know that. I could dance and skate on the skates, and I could skate backwards and all that sort of stuff, and so it was really easy for me to keep up with her. As a matter of fact, I would skate backwards, and she skated in front of me, and we went along like that and got talking. I said, "You want to get married?" No, I didn't say that.
No.
No, you did that.
No, I said, I wanted to take her home that night, and she wouldn't let me. She said, "No, I'll give you
I
my,"
came with my girlfriend.
Same thing as your mother.
so she said,
came with him.
I'll give you my name and phone number, so I wrote down Snapmeyer, and Hudson, I forget what her phone number was then.
What was your phone number?
Yeah, it was Hudson's phone number.
Hudson phone
Everybody
number.
that used to be a
exchange.
St. Louis exchange.
Yeah,
Hudson?
back then, that's what they had. They only had
Yeah, we had a Hudson exchange.
6 numbers then.
Right.
Six numbers.
HU something, and
Yeah.
then
HU.
whatever.
I don't even remember.
I don't remember it, and so.
Wow.
It was pretty funny though, because we had lived there since I was 2 years old. And at that time, I was 20 years old. and we were ready to move. And I met him on Labor Day weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and we were moving, I guess sometime in October. And the first time he came to the house, it was pretty funny because we had just not wall carpeting, but just rugs
Right.
in rooms. And we had our rugs all rolled up, and we had things all packed in boxes, and everything was standing around. It was kind of funny, you know, and I let him in, and I said, well, if you can see, we're just about ready to move. And so he came and helped us with the moving, didn't you? He came in just in the nick of
Just in
time.
the nick of time.
Yeah.
That's when we moved over in Wanda. My mother bought that
Oh, that's when
double,
you moved to Wanda.
she bought a double flat over there.
Double flat.
Yeah, 5920 over there. And it was not a very profitable deal for her because at that particular point in time, they had rent controls on,
Uh-huh.
and you couldn't, you know, rent
Raise
your
your rent.
property, you could not, you know, whatever the rent was real cheap, and she wasn't hardly getting any money from people on the other side, and she only really had one tenant, or no, she had two, because it was 4-family flat, but we broke a door and, you know, to go up to the upstairs, so we had the whole half of one
I
side,
see.
and the other side was rental property, so she had two tenants on the other side, and they were not paying very much rent. She couldn't do anything about raising the rent, and the property was worth more, you know, it was a nice house. And so she told the real estate man that sold her the property, after a while, you know, we lived there, I guess, not too long, about a year or two, I guess, and she said, look for a house for me, I don't want to get out of that property, and so he found a house up the street, that's where she
Right.
ended up at 5984.
Yeah, I knew that she had, I didn't remember that house
Yeah.
was a double flat.
No,
Because the one
no.
I remember was on Wanda, but it was that
That
single.
other one, yeah, right.
Okay.
I don't
So we
remember.
didn't live at 5920 very
I don't know, I don't remember whether it was the 5920 or the 5984, but one of those two houses.